Greetings! This is a little video on practice problem 3 from lesson 5. So problem 3 on page 190 has trouble setting it up. The initial values are the x values, and how do we go about finding these functions? So let's actually go through all of these. I think this is a really good problem to work through together. So let's get the original question kind of out of our way. Not that it was unimportant, it's just kind of in the way at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at these three problems. So we're supposed to come up with three functions. So for the first one, they give us to us in a table. The second one, they give us to a set of ordered pairs. And the third one, they give us a graph. And they tell us identify the initial value, calculate the base, then write the equation as f of x equals a times b to the x. Okay, so to find our a and our b, there are two things that we need to know. First of all, is that the initial value is given by a, and it was always going to be of the ordered pair of, of 0 by a. And what that means is that if we come over here for a second and we take a look at the function we're looking for, f of x is equal to a times b to the x. If we take and evaluate this function at 0, we get a times b raised to the 0 power, which is a times 1, because anything raised to 0 power is 1, which gets us back an a. So that's what I mean over here by the order pair 0a gives you the value of a. So in our first problem here, bada bing bada boom, we know that a is going to be equal to 4. So f of x is equal to 4, and now we got to figure out what the value of b is going to be. And once we figure out what that value of b is, we're going to raise that to the x. Well, to figure out what b is, as we know in an exponential function, is that b will be equal to y2 divided by y1, provided that it is an exponential function. Subsequent values of the exponential will give you back the base. So in our case, and the one that we're working on right here, if we take 8 and we divide that by 4, we get back 2, which tells us that is our value of b. So there's our first function. F of x is equal to 4 times 2 raised to the x. So let's check it, take it for a test drive and make sure it actually works. Well, let's see. F of 0 is equal to 4 times 2 raised to the 0, which gives us back 4. Check. First order pair works. Let's try the second order pair. F of 1 is equal to 4 times 2 raised to the 1, which gets us back 2 times 4, which gets us 8. Bingo! That one works. Let's try f of 2. F of 2 gives us 4 times 2 raised to the second, which gets us 4 times 4, which gets us back 16. Yowza! So our function is indeed working. It is creating that table we asked it access to. Excuse me. Okay, so part B, got a new function. Let's draw a line here to separate these. So now, again, we see our value of a right there, because lucky for us, they gave us the order pair 0a. So we already know that our function f of x is going to be equal to 2 times b, whatever that turns out to be, raised to the x power. Okay, so to figure out what b is going to be equal to, we need to take subsequent y values and form the ratio. So I'm going to take 4.2 and divide that by 2. Well, I'm not very good about doing decimal arithmetic in my head here, so let's go ahead and grab the calculator. And let's see, we're going to take 4.2, divide that by 2, and we get back 2.1. So it looks like b is equal to 2.1, and that tells us our function is f of x is equal to 2 times 2.1 raised to the x. I'm going to leave it to you to do what I did over here and check and plug in these corresponding x values, the 0, the 1, and the 2, and see if they give you the corresponding y values. Okay, one last one here. We need to get it off of the graph. This one's going to be a little bit trickier, not too horrible though. First off, they tell us that this is a 4 right here. They give us at least some hint of a scale, and they give us a 4 over here. So what that tells us is the tick marks are at 1. So that tells me that this point right here is at 0, 1. So again, that gives me my a value. My a value here appears to be equal to 1. So f of x is equal to 1 times whatever my b turns out raised to the x. Okay, well, let's see. Looking like I got an ordered pair right here. That looks pretty good. So it looks like at 1 I am at 2. And let's see, at 2 I am at 4. In other words, those two ordered pairs appear to be on there. I'm smelling a rat here. This looks to me like this is the same exponential function we got in part A, but let's check it. So if we take two subsequent y values, in other words, we take 4 and we divide that by 2, bah Jove, we get 2. The only difference between this one and part A is our initial value. Our initial value in this case was equal to 1 versus 4 in the first one. So f of x is equal to 2 to the x is the function on this one. So here are our three glorious exponential functions they asked us for. Hopefully that helped. Let me know if I need to do more.